Everyone, we're here live. Always a pleasure to have my friend Jorge Capestany. As you can see with this first comment from our friend Peter, it says, "Hi guys, Jorge is the GOAT of coaching." I definitely agree with that. Really, just
Checks in the mail, Peter.
yeah, just amazing. Jorge, are you still only one of 12 people worldwide that has earned the distinction of Master Professional with the USPTA and International Master Professional with PTR, or maybe there's like a couple more or one more?
I think there's a couple more. It might be up to 14 or 15
Okay, still
guys that have
ridiculous
them.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
been
really good.
around,
Also,
been around
mhm.
long enough.
Yeah, no, just constantly innovating, improving, and giving us awesome content. Member of the USPTA Midwest Hall of Fame, named National Pro of the Year by both the USPTA and PTR. List goes on and on. But Jorge, thanks so much for coming on to the summit, and I'm really
Nope.
excited to talk with you and for you to educate us on mental toughness. So yeah, how you been?
Good, man. I'm excited. Congrats again for pulling off a ginormous amount of work to do the summit.
Thanks.
As one of several coaches that promote the summit, it's always easy what you and Peter do with your letting people watch it free, 48 hours. It's kind of a no-brainer. So yeah, I appreciate that. And you guys are getting coaches that I think people on here know, but some of the coaches we're getting are just ridiculously established and good. So even I probably wouldn't be able to get a hold of these guys and learn from them if it wasn't for this. So thanks again for that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, you're the goat. I'm sure you'd make, be able to get a lot of them in there. But yeah, so I'm really excited to, like I said, learn from you, Jorge, with the mental toughness. I guess maybe I'll just ask you one kind of broad question first, and then we'll let you obviously, get the slideshow up. But what do you think is the biggest impediment to players being able to be mentally tough when they're playing matches?
Yeah, I think we all have a base, and it's different. I think everybody has a certain baseline of nervousness in their life. Some people are generally nervous when they compete, others less so. But the one message I hope to communicate to people here is that you can't just ignore the mental stuff. And so many club players, and I was a junior. I was a pretty good junior, and I played college tennis, and I was totally guilty. But I just didn't even spend 1 second on that. I worked on technique, I worked on movement, I worked on strategy. I put zero time into mental. And partly I didn't know what the hell to do. Like, where do I
Yeah,
go find that? There's no lessons being taught about this. So I
right.
think it's don't beat yourself up if you get nervous or feel like you're kind of a choker sometimes. That's fairly normal. Um, but what I hope to show people, that I'm going to title this 5 ways you can get better mentally. Now I have a bigger course where there's like 60 concepts, but I boiled it down to 5. If I had just like tonight, if I'm talking to just a group of people and they said, listen, don't tell me your whole life story. Just give me some actionable things. So I barreled down to what I think is the top 5. And I presented this at different places, in person, online, and I think it's pretty helpful. So if you're ready, I'll start going through the idea or ideas, if
Yeah.
you want.
Awesome. Wonderful. Let's do it.
All right, let's go here and see if I can do this. I'm going to share a screen, and if I pick the right one. Okay, so if I did this correctly on your screen, you should be
Mhm.
seeing the number 78. Is that right?
Got it.
Okay, so let's just think for a few seconds. What does 78 got to do with tennis? 78%. Is that for serve percentage goal?
I know.
And I'll let people kind of dwell on it for just a few seconds. But this is really my first attempt to kind of awaken people's minds to this. 78% is the amount of time during competition that is downtime between points. Almost 80%, you're not playing the ball back and forth. You're between points and you're, toweling off, getting to the other side, doing your changeovers. So it's a huge, huge amount of time. Yet that's the time where mental toughness shows up, and that's the time that people ignore. So just that's the opening slide. Just think about what that means to you. All right, let's go through a whole bunch of things here. So we're going to talk about 5 ways to get mentally tougher. These are 5 things that I think I can boil down. We could talk forever on this topic, but here we go. I'm going to list these for you. Number one way, if I was just meeting with someone for an hour and said, this is all I can give you, is you got to train your inner voice. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Number two, you need to practice under pressure way more. I think a lot of people are practicing incorrectly. They don't know it. They're like, man, I'm working my butt off here. I'm spending tons of hours, but I'm going to talk about that. We're going to talk about training the between point skills during that 78% of the time. We'll talk about, I'm going to have you go through an audit. That's kind of a tough, dangerous question. It's really a 2-part audit I want to talk about. And then we're going to give you a roadmap, develop a plan. Like, what the heck should I do? So I really want people at the end of this to have some ideas like, okay, he wasn't just a pretty face, but, I got some good ideas. I'm going to actually go try some of this stuff. All right. So let's start with number one, training your inner voice. So what I have to do about that, I'm going to tell you a story here. It's a little embarrassing, but I tell it all the time. I'm not proud of it, but it's a story about how my own inner voice had gotten so bad and I was completely oblivious to it. So I was a college player and I played here in Michigan where I live. And it was a day that we were playing. I remember we were outdoors. Our coach was Don Dickinson, who I love dearly. There was 8 of us, right? And at this particular part of practice, it was the end of practice, and we were all playing sets. So I was playing Lee Eisler. There was 4 courts, 8 guys playing single sets. Our coach was quiet. He kind of walked around with us. He'd just take laps, slow walking laps around all the courts, making little comments, giving tips and stuff. And I was playing this guy who was a friend of mine, but I hated playing him because he was 6'7", had a lefty serve. He played point. He'd serve me off the court. It wasn't a fun match for me. It wasn't the type of opponent I enjoyed playing. So I started playing, hoping, okay, I'm going to try to do well today. And pretty soon I was down. Okay, I got down 3-1, and now my attitude and my inner voice is getting a little stinky. I'm getting down on myself. Come on, I'm not having too much fun. And before I know it, now I'm down 4-1. And my inner voice is now becoming my outer voice. So I'm saying things aloud now. Come on, Jorge, move your ass. Let's go. Geesh, you're such a choker. I was really just berating myself, not swearing and cussing, but just kind of ragging on myself. And I wasn't even aware of it, to be honest. And one of the times that I was playing on the side court, like the far end, and when the coach came around my side, he was like this, right? And he kind of leans in. He goes, "You're a cow," and then he kept walking. And I go, "What? Did I hear that right?" I was completely threw me off. Like, what? No, it can't be. So, anyway, I just kind of let it go, and I keep playing, and I keep complaining, and next time he comes around my corner again, which is maybe 5 minutes later, he goes, "Your forehand, it's a joke." And then he keeps going. And I'm like, what? I heard that for sure. I mean, what's going on? He had one more thing, like move your, he repeated a third insult to me. And I thought, what in the hell? So the practice is over. The practice is over. We're meeting as a team. He's giving us some stuff about the next match and whatever. And then in the middle of the wrap up, he kind of looks to me, and I got my 7 teammates around me. And he goes, "So Jorge, what did you think about those things that I said to you?" And I was, I think 19. So I'm like, oh, made a caveman sound. And he goes, "Well, I just want you to know that everything I said to you were things that you had already said about yourself." And at that moment, I honestly said, I didn't say those things. And I meant it. I really didn't think I said those things. And immediately all 7 of my teammates did, "Bull crap, you did. I heard you. You were," and it realized it was like I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was a day that changed a lot for me because I realized, oh my God, I would have sworn in the Bible that I didn't say those things, and I didn't. And now I realize I probably did. So there's an example that my own mental inner voice was so crappy. It was not an inner coach, it was an inner assassin. If some dude was on the sideline fence saying those things to me, I probably would have gotten a fist fight with him. But here I am saying them to myself. So I say that story and not super proud of it, but I was able to turn around a lot later. But it just goes to show it's a very good possibility when you compete. You don't even know the tone in which you're talking to yourself. So then the second thing about the inner voice is right around that time, I got interested in like getting better at this. And my coach gave me a book from Timothy Galloway called The Inner Game of Tennis. Super famous book. A lot of people have read it. If you have not read it, it's worth it. And he kind of pontificates and says, listen, here's why people argue, because I see this all the time. I see it today, and I did it to myself. It'd be a single person. Jorge's on the court, and he's arguing like, "Oh my God," dude, and he's having this conversation, but it's really me. Like, why do you move? You're such a choker. Your backhand is a joke. Gosh. And like, who is Jorge talking to? Is that Jorge's right hand talking to his left foot? Is that Jorge talking to Jorge? How is that? How does that work? It's only one person. How? So what he says is really think of it in two people. Inside you is self one, which is your body, that your body's running around doing all the work. And then self two is your mind, who's just sitting back there judging the hell out of the body. So if you're doing this poorly, your body will do something, your mind will criticize it. Gosh, that backhand, are you kidding me? You miss an overhead. Oh my gosh, you got the chokiest overhead. You're freaking great in overheads in practice. And you get out here, you choke your face off. What a joke, you know? And it's like the mind talking to the body. So I thought, okay, I get that. That must be what's happening. But then the gist of the book, if I could put it in a sentence, is he says your job as a tennis player is to quiet the mind. Get that mind to be quiet and let the body just play, because a lot of times it'll fix itself. I thought, okay, that's a brilliant idea. First tip that someone ever threw my way that I can maybe go and try. So anyway, that's the story of self one and self two. And if you are someone who gets nervous or has, negative inner voice, that could be helpful. And the third thing I've learned, this is kind of a Jorge thing I invented, is I've learned over the years, I've taught 40 years now, I've taught 65,000 hours of tennis on the court, probably watched another 15,000 hours of players in competition, is that your thoughts reside in a few different places. So let's talk about past versus future thinkers. And if you're watching this, probably as I lay this out, you'll start to recognize like, yeah, that sounds like me. So there's three places. Okay. So Maribon and I are playing, and our minds are going to be one of three places. So one place it can be is in the past, or it can be in the future, it can be in the present. Okay, those are the three places that your minds and your thoughts might reside. Now, here's what we know. People who tend to, whose mind tends to reside in the past events, they tend to be angry. If people who are always thinking about the future tend to be nervous, and people who are kind of good at staying present are kind of focused. So number three is what we want, right? But number one, so let's look at this. You hear somebody complaining or ragging on themselves. Oh my God, you're a choker. That's number one, right? He's mad about a shot that just happened and he's angry. Okay. Let's look at example number two. You're playing in a team match, you're a league match, you're out there, maybe you're the deciding match, and you're already worried about, oh my gosh, I'm the deciding match. If I don't win this on the ride home, oh my God, I have to have dinner with these ladies afterwards, and I can't be the one that lost the team match. And they're thinking about something that hasn't happened yet, and they get nervous as heck. All right. So that's one way. And then the focus is where we try to be. So let's just define those three things. So now let me give you some examples. This is going to help you all figure out where you are. So we know that if you can hear the thoughts, sometimes they're inner thoughts, sometimes they're outer thoughts of the person in the past. These are the things they tend to say. They're all very negative. Okay. They're all reactions to something that just happened, meaning the past. So that's probably the worst place to be. Then you got these guys, these future people. And if you really could listen to them, or if you're a doubles partner and they're talking to you, they sound like this. Oh, if I get this game, I'll be at 4-1. That'll give me some breathing room. Oh, I can't be the only one to lose. I'm going to ride home. That literally happened to me. I was so nervous in a college match. All my teammates had won. I was the last person playing. I was in a long 3-setter, and I didn't want to lose and be the only guy in the team that lost a match. And I was thinking about that. My brain was in the car van on the van ride home, thinking, "Oh my gosh, Kevin's going to rag on me. They're going to tease me," and it made me play like crap because I couldn't bring myself to focus. So that's another way. So if you tend to be a nervous person, you might be a future thinker. If you tend to be an angry person, you might be a past thinker. So what do present thinkers sound like? If you hear them, they have very specific different mindset mantras. Okay, like get this serve in, get this return in. This is something to serve this one to the backhand. Come in on the next short ball. Let's play a long point here. I think Maribon's looking like he's dying over there. Let's play a long point, make him suffer a little bit. All these have to do with things that in the present, and it kind of to me shows that this person has the ability to plan out points. All right, so that's a bit about future or past thinking. So when I explain this to my own students and I have a little more time with them, I say, listen, you have crappy, inner voice, and your thoughts are going bad. So how can we stop that? Well, you can just say, all right, I'm going to stop. Or a coach will tell you, hey, just don't do that. Hey, Maribon, don't get so mad. That's like completely useless. If I if I could have done it, it's not like I enjoy being mad at myself. So here's a couple things. A coach told me this when I was in just before college. He says, you got to come up with some mantras. This was a really well-respected coach, not my personal coach. And I'm listening to him, and he's like, you got to have positive things that ready at the go that you can say to yourself and repeat as mantras during competition. And I was like, I mean, I was polite. I listened, but inside I was like, no way, dude. I don't lose matches because of this. I lose matches because my forehand's a joke, and I'm, I'd rag on myself. So he would come up with stuff, right? So I'm just going to put a few that I've used over the years with me and my students. Okay. So these are things. I'm a fighter. Instead of just having like, gosh, you're slow. God, you're a choker. I'm a fighter. Or I'm a tough competitor. I'll stay out here, man. I'll compete. I don't care if this takes 20 hours. Or I love to battle. I love controversy. I love strife. That's okay if it takes a while. I'm willing to suffer, which I personally think is Rafa Nadal's mantra. Like Rafa's like, okay, you want to play 5.5 hours in the clay, and I'm going to be really tired and probably hurt, but you're going to freaking die, dude, because I can suffer more than you. I feel strong. I love a challenge. I love the scoreboard craziness. So these are all possible things you can do. When I work with players, I have them come up with their own. And to be honest, it's not an easy task. When I bring this to both adults and juniors, a lot of them are like, I don't see the value in this, particularly juniors. So this is why I give them the swipe file, because when I say, all right, and maybe even now, if you guys drop it in the chat if you feel like it, come up with one mantra that you could say about yourself. Now, you can't be something you truly don't believe. Like if you say, well, I'm willing to suffer, and you realize, well, I'm really not. But there's usually you can come up with one, and that's a good first step. But when I ask people to come up with one, I can look at a group of high school players, 20 high school players, and say, all right, guys, you get it? Let's come up with one. And they all look with the most total blank looks in the face like, I don't know, I can't even think of one. So I give them the swipe file as some starting points. And you can say, well, maybe, I kind of like this one over here, and they can kind of swipe it or modify it. But this is at least something that you can do. I like it. I love competing. For me, I like number one. I would fight. I wasn't the best player. I don't have like all kinds of titles or anything like that. But I knew that I was a tough out. If you were going to beat me, it wasn't because I was giving things away. And I believe that about myself. So when I felt stress, I would just, instead of when I was doing it my best, I would be saying things like, oh, come on, baby. No one's going to fight like you. Let's get out here, Capestany. Let's go. And I would say that to myself. But it definitely wasn't what I defaulted to or what I started with. Okay, let's keep going. That was just area one, training your inner voice. Training under pressure is the second thing. So there's something weird about tennis scoring. Why it's difficult to close out. I'm going to tell you about a few things here. So number one, tennis, us tennis players, we live in a very diabolical scoring system. And a lot of people don't even realize it. But let me tell you why I say this. it's one of the few sports where the points are not cumulative. So I'm playing Mirabon. The first game goes deuce a few times. I've actually won 6 points, but Mirabon gets the game. So he gets 1 on the scoreboard, I get 0, and those points really come off the board. No one cares that I won them. They're not going to be reported as won by Jorge. All I know is that I won points, but Miramon got the game. Same thing happens in sets, right? I can play a long set and fight like crazy, and now I'm 6-6 in the first set, and it's a tiebreaker, and I know like pretty soon in the next 5 minutes, one of us is going to grab the half the match. And all of a sudden I lose 7-6. And then I feel like it's really easy to feel like, wow, a whole hour down the drain, I just lost those 2 points. I choked and I don't get any credit. There's all those games come off the board. They don't, he got the set. So it's very weird that way. The other reason is tennis's scoring system. There's 2 things here. Let's talk about number 2 here. Comebacks are easy in tennis, and putting people away, closing them out is difficult. And the best way I can tell you that story is to compare tennis to like ping pong. Okay. If I'm playing ping pong, you play up to 21 in ping pong, right? And I'm playing ping pong and I'm ahead 20 and Mirabon has 3. Okay. So I got a huge lead. What's different in ping pong is as soon as I get to game point, Mirabon in this example is facing literally 17 consecutive sudden death points. He cannot make one error or it's over. There's no breathing room, okay? Because that's traditional scoring. In tennis, compare this to me and Mirabon in a third set. And Jorge here is up 5-0 in the third. Huge lead, okay? But Mirabon down 0-5 is not necessarily facing match point. So we play the next game. I say 5-0, I serve. We had a nice long game. I win some points. Mirabon wins some points. But at the end, Mirabon wins the game. So 5-1. Right now, the guy that has 5 is still feeling pretty good. No worries. I got this. And then I play the next game, and that goes a long game. And maybe I do have match point, but he saves it, and then he wins the game. Now it's 5-2. All right. Now the guy that's got 5 is like, okay, not too freaked out, but let's close this dude out, Jorge. Let's go. Right here. Get serious. And then we have another long game. See what I'm saying? You don't have these constant, sudden death in your face points. So there's way less pressure. It's harder to finish people off. And then you win that game. Now it's 5-3. And when this happens, we know statistically that the person that has 5, even though he's still up 5-3, he lost 3 games, and now he's getting a little nervous. The thoughts inside the brain are like, okay, enough of this crap. Don't you dare. I mean, if you let this guy come back, but I'm still up 5-3. Got the room, okay? And then we play another long game, a killer long game. I win points. Mirabon wins points, but Mirabon wins the game. And now it's 5-4. And now the guy with 5 is in panic mode because, oh my gosh, future thinking. How embarrassing is this going to be if I was up 5-0 in the third and I walk off the court and I lose to this schmuck? No way. Let's go, Jorge. And then you play like crap. So you see the idea? I think people just do not give the scoring system credit for being as diabolical. The other thing is the outcome is uncertain. You're playing 5-5, 6-6 tiebreakers. It's not normal to not know that you're trying your butt off, and here you don't even know. Within a few seconds you're going to either win or lose. And humans, we don't like uncertainty. So here's some things regarding closing out. We know intellectually that every point is worth 1 point on the scoreboard. It is, right? But we all know if you compete in tennis, you all know that points, even though they're 1 on the scoreboard, you don't get 3 points ever. You don't get extra points for an ace. We sure as heck know they feel different. 30-30, 3-3 is way different feeling than 30-40 at 4-5. So it is one, but we have to acknowledge that scoreboard pressure. So here's the key. I believe that people practice wrong. So you have to find a way to play more pressure. Of all the people in my life, I was one of them that struggled with pressure or dealing with it. Almost always when I diagnose this as a junior player or an adult player, and they don't compete. They're professional practicers. They take lessons and lessons and groups and lessons and privates and more, but they're not really ever playing a lot. So they don't have they're kind of tennis mature, but match immature. They're babies when it comes to match, and many only played, a dozen matches a year. So pressure is something you get accustomed to. So here's what I do. Let's just for our sake define what pressure is. Pressure scoreboard means whenever a game gets to 30-30, it starts to feel a little different. Okay. When it's love 15-15 love, it just feels different. When it's 30-30, you're getting to the business end of the game. And pretty soon someone's going to claim this game. Inside of a set, it feels different. 2-2, 2-1, 2-3. Doesn't feel too much pressure. When it's 4-4, both players feel like, okay, it's getting real now. We're getting near the end. So I define pressure points, any points that inside of a game that are 30-30 or later, deuces and adds, or any game that is in a set that's 4-4 or past, 4-5, 5-4, 5-5, 5-6, 6-6, all that stuff. Okay, so think of those as, that's Jorge's definition. So the goal is for all of us to play more of those types of points. Here's the problem. Some of you on the call right now, you're like, well, what do you want me to do? I play 2 sets every week. I play at most 13 matches. I'm playing, 10 sets a month minimum. But here's the problem. If you play an actual match, if I play Maribon tomorrow and we counted up all the points, only a fraction of those points would qualify as pressure points. So I play for an hour and a half, but maybe only have 10 minutes of these pressure points. And that's the goal. That's the medicine you want. So I invented these 2 games for this specifically. And I now assign this as homework to most of my junior players and adult players, anybody that'll listen, instead of going out and playing a set like you normally do, play some practice sets. So instead of me and Maribon going out tomorrow and just playing regular singles, we're going to play a pressure set, which means we're going to play for time. We're going to play an hour and a half, and we're going to play as many sets as we can with the following rules. Every set starts at 4-4, and every game starts at 30-30. So we warm up, and I say, okay, you ready, Maribon? Yeah. Okay, I'm serving 4-4, 30-30, and I double fault. Boom, break point. Took 0 seconds. I'm facing break point. I'm right to the frickin' meat of it. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, dang, I better get my serve and get a little nervous. I double fault. Boom, I'm down 4-5 in the set. Now Maribon's serving at 6-5. So you spend the whole hour and a half playing those types of points instead of waiting till they actually come up. So pressure sets is a game I totally love. A sister game relative to that game, if you will, is called Deuce and Done. So in Deuce and Done, you play person, and this can be doubles or singles, doesn't matter. So let's say it's doubles this time. So me and Peter are playing Maribon and Will, and I come up, I'm serving first, and I just serve 2 serves, and that's it. So I serve to the deuce, I say deuce, I serve 1 to the deuce, and then I serve the next point, and one of 2 things is going to happen. Either I'm going to win both points, in which case I get the game, or Maribon and his team are going to win both points, in which case they get the game. Either way, that's all. You just play 2 points. Now, if we split the points, like I win one of them and you guys win one of them, it's a push. Nobody gets the game. So let's say I ace you guys and I double fault, 0-0. Now the other team serves. They hit an ace, and then they hit a volley winner. They strung 2 together. That's 1. So you just get to the business end of a game. You play 2 points, and that's it. 2 points. That's it. You had your chance. You didn't close it out. So it's a weird way to create pressure, but I'm always looking for creative ways to play pressure, because I think a lot of people are practicing playing. Hey, I'm playing sets, dude. So I don't know what your problem is. I'm playing sets, and you say I should play sets, but you might be playing the wrong type of points. Okay, so let's keep going here. I'm going to move this slide further. Now let's talk about between points. So there's a revelation I had back in the day, that there's actually 2 performances that happen on the tennis court, and most tennis players can only think of the one performance. So here's what they are. Performance 1 is during the point. That's the one we're all aware of. Yeah, I know what this is. I'm running my butt off trying to get the ball. So during the point, it's hard to see mental toughness skills, or because usually the person just running their tail off trying to get the point. You don't see people swing in the middle of the point, go, God, that's not, they swing and get caught. Usually that shows up afterwards, right? So during the point is one performance, but then the second performance is between the points. And during that time, it's super easy to see if someone's mentally tough. You can see it maybe 10 courts away. The body, the throwing the racket, the slumped shoulders, the oh my God, and the arm. So the problem is that second performance, most people don't look at it as a performance. They look at it like I did, which is rest period. I don't know about a performance there, man. I mean, I get the first performance. The point starts. I run my face off. We know average tennis points about 5 seconds, and then I get about 20 seconds of rest. I'm not supposed. I'm on timeout. I'm on my break. Don't mess with me for another performance. So that's the first step. You got to recognize. Remember that 78% slide. This is the time between points, and that's when you can do it. So people say, okay, well, what do I do? What in the heck do I do between there? So there's a system. I'm going to show you something pretty cool here, I hope. There's a system that a famous sports psychologist invented, Dr. Jim Loehr, and it's called the 16-second cure. It's actually something he discovered. He's a friend of mine. He's like my hero. It's called PRPR. This is how I remember it. There's 4 distinct things that happen when players between points, when the best players are playing their best. P is there's a positive physical response. R is their relaxation. This is when they're behind the curtain or behind the fence, kind of looking at their strings. Then P is when they start to come up to the baseline. That second P is for preparation. I plan the point. Okay, I'm serving the Maribon. It's 30 all. I'm going to serve out to his backhand, planning the point. And then R is the rituals. Bounce, hit, bounce, hit. Okay. And then just repeats and it repeats and it repeats. So there is actually a system that anybody can learn. And of course, you might say, well, where do I go learn that? So this is a plug for our buddies. This is not my website, but I'm going to show you something here. And let me know if this shows up. So gottatennis.com. Peter knows these guys, and you probably do too. So this is our friends Gordon and Brett. And if you go to their website, by the way, these guys work with freaking Novak, so they're no joke. But right there where it says 16-second, if you click that, it takes you to this page. And Jim first came out with a 16-second cure in the 1970s. I watched it, and I probably showed that video to like hundreds of my own students. The problem was it was done in the 70s, so everybody had weird hairdos and weird clothes and whitey-tighty shorts. So I begged them forever. So you got to revise that because the content is the same. I mean, it's still happening. It's just dated. So I promise you that he did it. It's right here, and it's free. He is old now, and he's like, I want to give this to the world for free. So for those of you saying, well, I don't know what to do about mental toughness, there's an actionable step. Go to this website, Gotta Tennis, click the 16-second cure, and you will see Jim. I'm not going to play too much of this right here, talking on the court. And he teaches you like the actual system. So now you have the burden of knowledge. So I'm going to just get rid of that. But that's the big thing I wanted to show you there. There is some things. And now because it's modern, that came out like a year ago. I've already shown it to hundreds of kids. I show it regularly, and I'll have kids watch it more than once. When I have my summer academy and the parents literature I send out, I say, please have your child watch this before they come and train with us. So they have a little bit of a clue of what we're going to be expecting between points. Okay, let's go to item 4 of 5 here. This is taking an audit, and I'm going to really have you consider 2 audits. The first audit, let's go over here. The first audit is this one, how you compete. Got some important questions for you there. And then how you train. All right, so let's go to this first audit. I'm going to put up 3 questions here. And I want you guys, maybe you can weigh in on this. Which of these 3 things sounds more like you, honestly? Okay. The question is, for the strokes that you currently have, you go to war with the strokes you got to play a match tomorrow. So with the strokes that you have, do you win more matches than you should? Do you win about as many matches as you should, or do you win less matches than you should? Okay, so I love asking that question. And I actually have asked it so many times at so many places that I've gone to speak at that I have probably what's pretty scientific data right now. So I don't know if I'm not seeing the things, but one, two, or three, what best describes you? Dude, I win more matches than I should. Given my strokes, I got like 3.5 strokes, but I'm usually beating players better than 3.5. Or are you like, yeah, I got 3.5 strokes. I basically beat 3.5s, or I hang with them. I can beat most 3.0s. I never beat a 4.0. Or are you the person that says, hey, I'm a 3.5 and I know my strokes are 3.5, but you know what? I struggle to beat 3.5s. I'm kind of always schmucky. So here's the thing: is I appreciate you guys voting here. Here's what I will tell you: it's about 10% of the people. This is what people report, and I've asked this all over. So there's very few. 1 in 10 people tell me, you know what? I win more matches than I should. Those people exist. I remember my daughter was kind of one of them. She didn't have the greatest strokes, so she can compete really well. By the way, I love coaching people like that. But if you want to know the truth, you know who shows up in my club every day? This guy. This is the majority of tennis players in the world. I think even if you look at those things, most of the people answer today 3. Now, here's what I want to tell you. You're not a schmuck because you're a 3. But if you are a 3, you think you're a schmuck. This was me in college. I always felt like I can't win. What I want this so bad, but I'm here. What is the deal with me? And you walk around the planet kind of thinking like, there's something wrong with me. I mean, this tennis thing, it's fun, but man, it causes me a lot of misery. What the heck? So that's one thing. So let me theorize for you, like why that might be happening to you. Okay. And let's go to this one here. So this is something that I call the 4 pillars of tennis, how you actually train. And I did not invent this. This is just kind of common sense. So one pillar is technique, the other one is strategy, the other one is mental, and the other one is fitness. Okay, so this is what we all train in. This is what the pros train in. You say, well, what do you mean by technique? That's how you hit, changing your mechanics and your strokes and your grips and your checkpoints. Strategy is strategy. Mental is your mental skills. Fitness is, your movement, your efficiency. And when people look at that, I'm going to start asking you all a question to consider. Most of the people that are watching this are pretty serious tennis players, right? You might be adult players that play in a league. You practice, maybe you have a regular team practice. On average, the people I get in front of, they're practicing 4 to 6 hours a week. So it's like 250 hours a year that they're practicing. They're into it. And here's the deal. Most, when you really ask them, how much time are you spending in these pillars? And they'll look and they go, well, yeah. And they go, and then here's the dangerous question. How much time? 250 hours. Okay. Last year I trained. How many minutes did you spend in the mental area? And honestly, the answer for most people is zero point 0.0 minutes. I never knew I should. And I certainly don't know what the hell to do. It's not my fault, by the way. And then they start getting defensive. Hey, wait, it's not my fault. They don't even offer anything. At my club, they'll give me lessons on technique and strategy, and I can even on footwork, but they're not offering me anything, any program for mental. It's giving me a tip here and there. So this is the reality for a lot of people. And I'm warning you, this is not what the pros do. If you don't think the best players in the world, half of these guys are traveling with mental coaches. This is it's not like a maybe. This is for sure an area that you cannot ignore, but most club players do. So already today, I gave you at least something you can do. So if you're like, yeah, this freaking guy's right, go to that GATA website and do nothing more but watch that video and practice it. So there's one thing you can do. So this is a big aha. How you train. If you're training incorrectly and you're focusing on all the other things, and you probably might be a person that answers number 3. For the strokes I have, I don't win as much as I can because this whole area mental is crazy. If you ask the best players in the world, what percentage of tennis is mental, there's a cliche 90%. I don't think it's 90%, but it's not 0%. It's up there. Okay. It's 50% because you can have all the best strokes in the world. And if you're weak mentally, or if you get nervous or you get mad and all these things, it can ruin it. So that's the second audit. And it's just kind of like a wake up call to like, hey man, the alarm is going off and you're hitting snooze. And you choke another match, you get mad, like, and you hit snooze. I mean, you can't hit snooze for 100 years in a row and expect to be, a 4-0 when you've been 3-5 for 21 years. All right, let's go here. I'm going to help you with this other thing. So the 5 play situations in tennis, I'll just put them up here. This is kind of how I personally choose to teach tennis. It's my methodology. So in tennis, when you will play tennis, anybody, this is non-debatable. There's only 5 things a tennis player ever does on the court, and it's one of these. You're either in any given moment, you're serving, or you could be returning the ball, or you could be rallying from the baseline, or you could be at the net or transitioning to the net, or the other guy might be up there, in which case you're hitting passive shots and lobs. That's it. Don't try to invent another one they don't exist. And we all do these. Now, if you look at these, some people would say, I'm great at serving and baseline, and some others would say, I'm great at net play and passive shot. Doesn't really matter, but these are the 5 areas. Okay, so here's my next thing that I would recommend. The progress report. I'm going to let you swipe this idea. This is kind of like a guide on how you could develop your game based on these 5 play situations. Now, what you'll see, I'm only putting up the first one here, and don't worry about this. At the end, I'm going to give you a QR code so you can swipe this if you want. Serving. Okay, so in each area, I look for technical and tactical. So in this example, the technical, I want the proper grips and stance. I want the 9 checkpoints. That's Dr. Mike Kovacs. And then on the tactical, I want to see that you can change speed, you can change locations in the box, you can change heights. And then there's a little scoreboard there, right? You can give yourself a score, a technical score and a tactical score. Okay. So this is how this works. This is just the serve area. So on the screen now is the return. Okay. Those are the tactical and technical. You could give yourself a score. Then you go, the third area is baseline. Again, technical, tactical things change. By the way, these are Jorge specific. This is what I want, but for my players, but you can swipe these or use them with your coach. It's really an interesting thing to self-audit. You give yourself a grade, then you have your coach give you a grade, and you see if you're way off, you're like, maybe you're not in reality. Number 4 is net play. And this is kind of what I would want, technical and tactical. Number 5 is passing shots and lobs. That's the 5th and final play situation. And this is what I would hope for. And then I throw in number 6 here. It's not a play situation, but I always want to measure someone as a competitor. So I look for 2 things. They can deploy a variety of tactics in different styles. That'd be the technical score. Then the tactical means they control their emotions and they know how to use the 16-second cure. And that's it. Now here, I'm going to keep this up for a while because if I made this form, it's all one sheet and it's downloadable. So if you want to take your phones and scan that, it'll take you right to the one sheet. You can print as many as you want, and it's super helpful. And for me, it's the very first thing I do when I help a player. If I'm going to take over helping a player, I don't do a lot of private work anymore, but this is what I would do. I'm taking on Miramon. He's 10. I want him to be freaking famous. Here's our game plan. Where do you stand in these 5 play situations? What are we focusing on? And by the way, you don't have to master them all, but you can't have 1 or 2 of them be totally horrible, or you're gonna have problems. And so it also serves as a roadmap. Like a lot of you, let me just ask a question. This is a painful question. Some of you people watching this might say, my volley skills, my front court skills, they're my weakest. I know it. My partner knows it. My coach knows it. Everybody knows it. I'm not embarrassed. It's a weakness for me. It's not only a weaker part of my game, it's actually a weakness. And then you check in with that person a year later. Hey, Bill, how's it going? Good. Hey, what's the weakest part of your game? Yep, my net game still. And then you check in another year, same thing, another year. 5 years goes by, 10 years go by, 15 years go by. And you say, okay, So obviously, this net thing is haunting your tennis career for years, for decades now. So what are you doing about it? And they don't know. Like, well, I'm not good at the net. So that's a fixed mindset and not a very good way to improve. So the progress report, if nothing else, would just kind of help you assess where you need help. And I think one of the best things I could tell you about it is fill it out for yourself. Maybe have your doubles partner fill it out, answering you, and your coach. And this is really worthy conversations. So what did we cover? My PowerPoint's coming to an end here. We talked about your inner voice, and I told you that embarrassing story about college. We talk about training under pressure and how those two games get you right to the pressure. We talked about the between point skills, that is actually a competition. We showed you a couple of um, audit questions to take, how you train and how you compete. And then lastly, we gave you the plan there. So, and then we'll wrap up here. I know I'm going to open up to questions, I'm assuming, but I know some people are going to ask, so what if anything is going to be your bonus, Jorge? So um, tomorrow, my session goes live, and it's going to be practice games on the serve. I really don't like how a lot of people practice their serve. It's boring to practice your serve. I would admit that. I didn't love practicing my serve. Getting a bucket of balls and going out was not fun for me. So I have a whole bunch of creative games and ways that you can practice your serve that'll help you with basically not double faulting and getting a lot better serve. But this bonus is really a 4-part. Each of these videos those are the topics of the videos: fear of losing, closing out matches, inner voice, and nerves and choking. So they're each about 20 to 25 minutes long. So they're probably 2 hours of content. And anybody that buys the upgrades, the pass for Tennis Summit through my link, I'll give you that. But I also wanted to just share with you tonight everything that we're doing on this live session. So, Maribel, I am officially done with my PowerPoint, so I can maybe stop sharing. And if there's questions, I'd love to answer them. And if not, then we can all go to sleep. But yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for. I hope at least some of you got some ideas and all the things that we covered that would be helpful to you. But yeah, I really struggled personally as a competitor. I was not great with mental toughness. I got way better at the end, but man, it was not natural for me to be good at it. And here we are, and I got better, and so I know everybody can improve at it. It's not, you don't have to be stuck for your life as being mentally weak. You can actually improve these areas, just like a forehand or backhand can get better.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks so much, Rory. It's so much great information, and I hope you all scan that QR code as well. That's a really cool evaluation that you definitely want to take. And I mean, even that, just self-awareness is so important in life with everything, and using like that'll just illuminate. Sometimes people, yeah, I mean, they need to just sit down and evaluate their game and just realize like, oh wow, I actually really need to work more on this area and so forth. And your strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, we have a lot of comments here and questions. So, which is great. Robbie said, I've learned so much from Jorge. His mental toughness tips are the best. It's great to see you, Robbie. Another great summit. Appreciate that. Christopher, we also live our lives in these 3 mental areas.
Yeah.
So yeah, past, present, future. Yeah, definitely. It's same thing. Trying to stay present in the, in the, that's what you need to do to really thrive, to stay present. Let's see. Already great stuff. We're learning a great deal. Thanks. Awesome. Let's see. So here's a question from Florida Man Cooking. Cool name. Is there a way to believe in a mantra that you I think he or she meant to say that you currently don't really believe in but want to. That's what I think.
Yeah. So one of the things I learned when I heard some really good people talking about this, mantras, affirmations, whatever you call them, you don't want to BS yourself. So if it's a mantra that you say, well, I'm not sure I believe that one, but I'd like to believe that about me. Like, I wish I was willing to suffer, but I really don't. Then you wouldn't want to use it as a mantra because it won't really have the effect. But here's another thing that people tell me is they genuinely sometimes have a hard time coming up with a positive thing about themselves. Like, oh, I'm trying here. I don't know. I can't think of one thing that I can say that I like about myself. Um, and that's where you might need some help from a coach or from a teammate. We tend not to, especially if you're kind of wired to be a little negative and self-critical. It's not super easy. Like, oh, um, but maybe a better question would be to say, what would your coach say is your strength? What would your best friend say they like about you? What would your doubles partner say? Maybe they don't like everything about your being your doubles partner, but what's the one thing that your doubles partner would say that they do like about you? So think of it from them, because sometimes it's just hard to come up with one
Mm.
yourself. By the way, I was just interviewing a really good coach, and he was talking about, who uses mantras, they call them affirmations, is Navy SEALs. I mean, it's literally
Mm.
a very huge part of how they train Navy SEALs. Is you're not a Navy SEAL and you have some crappy thinking, right? You're going to get yourself and other people killed. So
Yeah.
they do it, and I don't know what they are. I'm imagining a lot about, I'm willing to suffer. I can do this for anybody. I'm saving the country. I put other people ahead of me, whatever they are. But they supposedly are very, very active with their people, using mantras and affirmation. So that tells you something.
Yeah, definitely great stuff with the mantras. Mark says or asks, Other than staying positive and continuing to communicate, what's a good tip to help a partner who is struggling with poor body language, negative self-talk, etc.?"
Yeah, so I think this is a tough one for people. The 16-second cure that Jim Lair came up with, really is 100% for singles. It's how you should react. But then I was thinking, well, a lot of people play doubles, so I kind of created the Jorge version. I call it the doubles mojo, or
Mm.
traffic patterns. So here's what I would say. First of all, just general questions. I think partners get assigned, and sometimes you play with someone for years. You don't even know what they want. Like, how about you ask your partner, after you miss an easy shot, what would be best for me? Leave you alone, encourage you, ignore it? People have different answers to that, and they never really talk. And played with Maribon for 20 years, and every time I miss an easy shot, he ignores me, thinking he's being indifferent, and I take that as, like, oh, he's mad at me. So just having these
Mm.
conversations. But here's what I would recommend: if you and your partner can get in the habit of doing the doubles version of the 16-second cure, which is part one, as soon as the point's done, you find each other. You don't just walk across the net and no make there's eye contact, and you find each other. Part two, you come together and there's some sort of physical touch. Think Bryan Brothers as I say this. Number three, after the physical touch, they walk together to the baseline. You walk the server back, or you walk with your partner back. And then number four, as soon as you're done with that, the other partner jogs into position, either at the net or on his side to return. And there's a ritual. As soon as the point's done, they make contact, they come together, they walk together, they split. Point's done, they come together, there's a physical touch, they go up, and they split. And if you watch that, the Bryan brothers were the best at it because they were super obvious. And when you see the pros doing it and a team is really humming and playing well, that happens. And if they're not, they're kind of like two ships. I double fault. Maribon's at the net. He just walks straight across the net. Doesn't even make eye contact with me. I go the other side. I immediately, because I'm a human being, think, oh gosh, he's mad at me. I double faulted again. He didn't even say anything. He didn't turn around and say, that's all right, buddy. Let's go. And the person, Maribon, was like, what do you mean? I didn't say a dang thing. I didn't say anything. And that's the point. That's not normal. And then your buddy thinks you're mad at him. Well, I didn't say I
Mm.
was mad at him. So that between point stuff is really helpful in doubles as well. And we actually practice it. It's a little awkward, but we say, all right, let's play a point, and I'm going to see you do these 4 steps. And it's super. I mean, people get it. It's so much more fun playing doubles when that's going on than the opposite.
Yeah, most definitely. Thanks, Jorge. Great question, Mark. Christopher, that's right. It all comes down to the big points. Yeah, talking about the pressure points. For all 30L. I love that. That's so good. Oops, sorry, that was me. Let's see. Michael, my buddy here. How do you help with your partner's mentality or your own when you're trying to close out the set? I find my partner and I struggle to get over that mental hurdle. And then also, is there a way to reset your mentality?
Well, I think the first item is I think a lot of people, I think it sounds like closing out a point, you're closing out a game or a set even.
Yeah.
And that comes almost always from just not enough experience. I opened this talk by saying that everybody's different on their baseline nervousness, right? Some people are generally nervous. They are way to the right and they get nervous easily, and other people not so much. So that I don't care about. I don't care where you are on the scale. If God put you at a 9, you're nervous, whatever. But the deal is, you can go on different places, but the number one way to deal with pressure, and I still believe it in my heart, is to play tons and tons of points, get experience at pressure. So if you play tournaments, we have this all the time. We got kids that come to the college where I'm not the college coach, but I'm at a college. It's Division 3, so our best players are probably 4 5s and 5 0s. This is not like a 7-0 player, and you can almost for sure tell which college kids have a history of playing USTA tournaments and which college kids were only high school players. Those USTA kid tournaments, they've been through the ringer. They played jerks. They played crazy people. They played under pressure, and they just deal with pressure so much better than someone that doesn't have all those extra touches on the ball when it comes to pressure. So that's pretty important. And then I would say that practicing this between point skill, like say, hey, this dude that I just watched on the internet, he talked about this thing. Let's try it, and doing it. Sometimes it's hard in doubles because you got to get buy-in from the partner, and if they're not going to do anything, then it's a little bit tougher, obviously. But um, playing tons of games, I would play games with double sets with your buddies, and just start every game at 3-3 or at 4, every set at 4-4, and every game at 30-30. And just play for an hour and a half, and just see how weird that feels. It'll be different. So the next time you're out there and it's 40-30 and it's late in the set, you're like, I've done this. I did it 22 times last Friday. But you can't just do it once. You got to marinate in it.
Yeah, that's really good. 16-second cure, and a lot of those pressure games are going to be help a lot. Great questions there. Let's see what else we got here. Peter, can you teach me how to beat Maribon when he's cheating? You
Yeah,
can't. Just call them all out. What are you gonna do?
that's right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Peter, I normally can, but when one player is 3 levels higher than the next player, then it's too much to overcome. So I don't know if I can help.
checks in the mail, Jorge. Thank you. Funny stuff. We do have some more. All right, here we go. Christopher, during match play, do you suggest we focus on our strengths or our opponent's weaknesses?
It depends. So I think you start playing your strengths. Okay. So let's say I'm an aggressive baseliner. That's definitely how you should start. As the match unfolds, if your plan A is winning you the match, then you don't quit. You just ride that ship and take the win and get out of there. But let's say I'm aggressive baseliner and I play and I'm not winning. It's close, but I'm not pulling away. And next thing you know, well, I lost the first set 6-4, and now I'm down one break. At that point, I would suggest, rather than you trying to raise your level, which is hard, that you try to lower your opponent's level. So that's called something I call sabotage. And I actually have a course on sabotage. And what's weird about sabotage is people don't want to hear it. They're like, oh, I don't want to hear it. Just tell me how I can hit the ball hard and win. I'm like, well, I want you to do that, but you're not doing it. The writing's on the wall. You lost 6-3. You're down 4-1. I mean, do you want to actually lose the match so you're certain that way, or do you want to predict that you're? So I think sabotage and making the other guy play bad happens more than people think at the pro level, but the pros are pros. So here's an example. For years, Rafa Nadal would play Federer, and Rafa would hit a loopy forehand with excessive topspin, excessive loop, trying to get Federer to hit a backhand above the shoulder. Now, that was sabotage. He was sending balls that were uncomfortable. But Roger's Roger. He's not whiffing the ball. He's getting them back. But so to the human eye, you might not notice. But when you do the analysis, like, wow, he gave Roger 0 balls in the strike zone. That's a form of sabotage. So the classic sabotage that we should all be able to do is slicing people, moonballing people, drop shotting people, and changing the pace from hard to slow. You should be able to do all 4. Okay. Now you might say, well, I don't like to slice. Well, fine. You don't have to slice, but you should be able to slice. I'm not saying, hey, become a slicer and that's your new plan A. You play your plan A, but you got to have these tools of sabotage in your thing. Because I tell you one thing that's cool about sabotage. If you're ever losing a match and then you use some sabotage and it turns around and you win the match, that's pretty freaking fun. All of a sudden, people are like, dude, I better learn this. But I coached college tennis for a couple of years. I was the assistant to my daughter's team, and my daughter played pretty high in the lineup. So I would coach the lower players, like the number 5 and 6. And I routinely remember saying, okay, I'm going to sit out here with you and I'm going to be your second brain. We're going to figure out how to play this person. And sometimes, I would always say after the 3rd game, I want you to tell me, I'm talking to my player, can you win using your plan A, or are you going to have to do something different? So almost everybody's plan A was steady baseline or aggressive baseliner. That's basically it. I didn't have anybody that was a slicer hacker. I didn't have a moonballer. I didn't have an all quarter. I definitely didn't have a serve volleyer. They were all some form of baseline player, specifically steady or base or aggressive. So after 3 games, I say, okay, Maribon, tell me the deal. Are you going to win doing this, or you have to do something else? I don't think I'm going to beat this girl today. I said, all right, now we have some options. So let's come up with some other things to do. Can you slice? Well, I know what it is. I don't really want to do it. Okay, well, can you drop shot? Bring the girl in. I don't do it very well. Well, can you loop the ball, push her back really deep so that you receive short balls and now you can be aggressive? I don't like the loop. So now you're screwed, man. You're basically saying, I don't have all these tools. I know what they are. I just can't deploy any of them. So I don't really own them. I just know about them. So you're going to sink. You're going to probably lose because you can do one thing. And today we decided that guy isn't beatable with your one thing. So you don't have thing 2 or thing 3. So at a minimum, a drop shot, this is my pet peeve. I think everybody should learn a drop shot as the first shot of their freaking arsenal. Because if you're a singles player and you play in today's game, 100 matches that you play as singles, the opponent will be a baseliner. I don't think I've literally seen a serve volleyer, a true serve volleyer, and someone that wants to come to the net excessively in the last decade. In college, high school, league play, it just doesn't exist. So if you know they're going to be back at the baseline, that's likely what they want. A drop shot, of all the shots, a drop shot gets them off the baseline. Well, man, that you should do that. But too many people, well, a drop shots kind of want to be called a hack. There was a famous men's final in the French Open where Novak beat somebody. It wasn't Rafa, he was sick. And they had like 72 drop shots between the players. It was like 1 every 6 shots was a drop shot. And like the pros are using it, but somehow my league players think it's beneath them. So sabotage is a great way to do it. So start out with to answer Chris here, start out with your game plan. If it's winning, ride it all the way to the finish line. If not, think sabotage. It's really hard because most people say, well, I'm not winning. I'm down 1-4. So I think I'll try to harder. I'm going to try to go for more winners and play better. And usually you don't get better. You hit a few more winners, you hit equally as many losers and make errors. So you kind of flutter. So it's way easier to drop your opponent's skill level down to yours than it is to raise yours up to theirs. If you go out to anybody in the match, hey, dude, right now, just start playing 20% better, will you? They're like, I'm doing the best I can already. No one's like in reserves. Like, oh, okay, all right, Mayor Bot. I didn't know you wanted me. Do you want me to play my best? Okay, well, I'll go to my best now. So chances are you're
Thanks.
already doing your freaking best. So
Yeah, yeah, very true, very true. Michael says drop shots are so fun too. They are fun, except
yeah.
when you're getting drop shotted, which is why Jorge suggests them. Yeah, let's see here. We got some more. Anoop says, how can I get the QR code? I missed it.
Well,
Hmm.
I can put it back up, and also,
Okay.
excuse me.
Oh, you can rewind as well, like or watch the
Oh yeah.
replay and do that too. So either one, yeah. You don't. I mean, you don't have to share it, Tori, if it's
Okay.
might be tough.
Yeah,
But
and I'll
yeah.
send you the link so you can email it to people.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that sounds great. But yeah, Anoop, I would just say, pause the video, rewind a bit, and you'll see it there, or you can email me and I'll send it to you, the link rather. Let's say, Jamie, I have tried some of Jorge's pressure drills and private lessons with one of our pros, but my friends, teammates, and my club pros uh, at large have no interest in any of them. How do I bridge this gap? Hmm.
So probably, Jamie, what I'm assuming is happening there is they're either thinking they don't need it, like, hey, I don't need this. Let's just play normal. I don't know what the heck you're talking about with this weird scoring. So it's just a different way to play. And honestly, if they don't feel like they struggle with pressure points, like I'm fine under pressure, they may not want to play it. But maybe you could say, hey, can you help me out? I want to play some of these points so that I can get better at dealing with pressure. And just the nature of the scoring, pretty not debatable. If you play those games, you're playing quote pressure points way more often than not. It's just another play or compromise. So, hey, let's play a regular set, and then the second set, let's play this weird set that is called pressure sets, and see how we do. Usually, when people do it, they actually get a lot of feedback. They realize, wow, I felt more nervous. So many of the points were business end of the point, business in the set. And it felt definitely different than an hour of normal singles play or doubles play where a fraction is pressure points. You play with those rules. It's like the whole freaking hour and a half was pressure points, and it was kind of weird. And some people will totally hate it because they're not good at it. I've had that. I'll say, I want you guys to do this from my summer academy. And one kid will just like, I'm not coming back to this place. This is stupid. I'm like, that's the kid that needed it the most. I mean, he got so much feedback that you stink at this. And instead of like, oh, thank you for putting this out. Now I know what to work on. They're mad that they went through the experience. I'm like, oh, you're gonna probably have a lot more pressure in matches for the rest of your life until you
Yeah.
ramp up the touches.
For sure, for sure. Jorge, I know we're over now, so just let me know, if you need to skedaddle or whatever, and all good. Um,
Yeah,
but
well, I appreciate the chance to do it, man. Cuban
yeah, no,
Davis got one of my best drills. I love that one.
yeah, yeah, really good stuff. Over done this for over 10 years. Awesome, good job, Tom. Tom is always on it. Great stuff. Rick, how do you get your partner to hit cross court 85% of the time instead of hitting down the line and missing 70% of the time? Devil chat.
Well, that's the strategy question. I mean, I think ideally a coach can help with that. I haven't had too many examples in my life where a partner tells the other partner something like that, and the one goes, "Oh, thank you for the enlightening me. Yeah, I'm not going to do that now." Usually they'll be a little offended. So maybe a coach. Also, if you haven't flirted with it, Swing Vision, which is I don't even have a relationship with them other than I love that software. For It's really shocking. It's I think 147 bucks. You can film all your matches. You put a iPad up and it films you, but then it gives you pro level stats. So you would be able to say to your partner, let's look at all the times that you hit your return down the line and search it. And then Swing Vision pulls up 22 shots. And you say, wow, here they are. And wow, we lost 20 of them. And let's look at all the times you return cross court from the deuce side. Oh, here's 37 shots. We won 28. So now you have data. And that was never, this is the kind of stuff that Craig O'Shaughnessy does, and they get that. But Swing Vision allows like us mere mortals to get that kind of stuff. And it's really, really shocking. But that would be the best tip I have for that. Um,
Yeah, that's really good. Really good. I like Swing Vision too. Actually, I do actually promote them. So just FYI there, I put the link in, but really good tool. Very good tool. Let's see. Michael says thanks, Jorge. Oh, appreciate it. Let's see. Christopher, learn to get comfortable when you're uncomfortable. That's very true. Let's see. Did I miss one? Oh yeah, Linda. I forgot to put. Linda said the Navy Special Warfare Creed uses this as part of their creed. I am a disciplined, confident, and highly motivated warrior.
Boom.
Ooh,
That's a
really
mantra
good.
right there.
Yeah,
That's a mantra.
I love that. That's really, really good. Let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, Florida Man cooking. I saw Novak talk once about breathing. Can you talk about that?
Well, there's a whole book. The gentleman I talked about, Jim Lair, who does that 16-second cure. His he has a whole book on the importance of breathing. I mean, it's like some pretty shocking benefits of breathing, and all this stuff. Like, you just hold your breath, and then you can get people's heart rate, and it changes their blood chemistry. I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it, but I can tell you it's super helpful. And I just realized in something as I'm looking at the cool chat thing here. I think I can try to do this. I'm going to try to drop in the. I know some people. Maybe I can't. I was going to give you, Peter, or Mirabon. Maybe I'll reply to it. The link to that Jim Lair thing. So I just replied to one of your
Perfect.
earlier emails. I'm too dumb to know where to
Oh, no
connect that
worries.
to, I guess. But that's so helpful, and I think it would be. But yeah, I think breathing, super important. There's all kinds of articles on it. Jim Lair has a book. It's actually no book, but I think it's still applicable. I know Mark Kovacs, our sports science buddy, has stuff on that. Um, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it, but I know enough to know that it's important.
Yeah, it really is. Helps lower your heart rate as well, which helps with the whole nerves thing. For sure. Let's see. Who else we got here? JD Romero 21. I saw that in the match. Emma Navarro versus Sabalenka. Navarro's strategy was to hit balls that would be uncomfortable for Arena, and that way she could not play to her strengths. Exactly what you were talking about. With the
Yeah,
sabotage, right?
yeah. I
Yeah.
call it sabotage. I think there was one gentleman one time debated me like, I don't like that word sabotage. It sounds mean. I'm like, I like it. It's not like you're sabotaging like in wartime when you're killing somebody. You're just like making sure that you don't inadvertently become your opponent's ball machine. I think that's a big takeaway I've learned a long time ago, which is a lot of club players, their goal is to hit hard and in, and that's a good shot. I hit the hell out of it and it went in, so I'm good, right? But on the receiving end, that's what people want. That's why everybody wants to play with better players, because they hit hard and they hit you line drives, and you can use that power. So in our attempt to become good, we become human ball machines to our opponent, and we make them play better, and then we're like, what the heck, this freaking Maribon, every time I play him, he trees against me. I mean, I know he's not this good, but he always comes like, and I'm the problem. I'm feeding him a steady stream of strike zone three balls, lots of power,
Mhm.
right waist high, and then I'm wondering why is this guy playing so good against me? And I'm the actual culprit.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see. Jamie, I pride myself on having almost every shot in the book, but more often than not, I get advice to rely more on my topspin than my variety. Which doesn't sound that great, right, Jorge? I mean, it kind of depends on
Well,
who you're playing.
yeah, if I was coaching you and I thought that your top spin was your plan A, and maybe you're a heavy top spinner, baseliner person, I'm
Mm.
fine with that being your plan. It's all about when you go to variety. So I wouldn't use, unless you say to me, like, well, actually, my favorite way to play is to have variety, then that's your plan A and you should use it. But if you're hitting top spin, and like I have a kid at my club has a lot of top spin on both sides, I would say he's an aggressive baseliner, but has big safety in his game. So,
Yeah.
and I don't want him to hit variety until he realizes that that's not going to work. Now, the second he realizes it's not going to work, then I want to make sure that he is the option to, okay, let's slice, let's loop, let's do a mixture, let's bring the guy in, let's loop it and push him back. Opponent manipulation where I'm not going to just hit the ball and let him stay on the baseline. What if I can hit a ball in a manner that will make him back up? Most players, if you hit a loopy ball, they'll back up. No problem. You can get them 10, 20 feet
Mm,
behind the baseline. And almost always you receive shorter balls, which on paper should be great, right? Because now you can come inside the court yourself and dominate and use more angles. But a lot of people, I don't want to loop like that. That's not real tennis. I'm like, well, it kind of is. Check out Rafa.
yeah, exactly. That's I do that quite a bit myself. Great question. Florida man cooking, same thing with underhand serves if it's not illegal. Yeah, especially if their returners really far back. That's definitely a good strategy there. Dick P. My doubles partner can be hard to communicate with. Some are not 100% buy-in. Some take over. Some make faces. Some don't talk. Yeah, it can be tough out there, huh?
I think that's fairly typical. I mean, we're all humans, and singles, you're out there by yourself. You can't really make a partner angry at you during a singles match. But in doubles, it's who knows the personalities. And I do have a list of 20 questions. I call them the partner questions. And some of them are pretty obvious, like who should serve, who should play the deuce, who should serve first, who should play the deuce or the ad court, who's going to serve when the sun is in a bad spot. But some are less obvious, like how do you want me to talk to you after you miss an easy shot? If we're behind, do you want me to be energetic? You want me to leave you alone? Do you want encouragement? Do you want instruction? Very few people want instruction. They usually want encouragement, but some people are like, no, tell me what I did wrong. I'm fine. If I miss the third overhead in the net and you have an idea, I'll listen. But 9 out of 10 partners don't want their other partner to make technical corrections for them. So if you're wired that way and Maribon just dumps his third overhead in the net and I say, Maribon, just hit it more behind you. That could be actually correct, but maybe he's mad now. So those are questions you can ask ahead of time. Say, what do you think about this between point stuff? You want to try these rituals? No? Okay. But you can't really force people at the end of the day if the partner is just kind of like, some people are difficult. Let's just face it. I'm not saying your partner is, but some people aren't going to buy into any of this. Even some people tonight might think, I don't know, man, we're talking about this. Isn't it really just you need better strokes and you win? So this whole freaking presentation on mental toughness, is this really a thing? And all I can tell you is like, you don't have to really trust me. You can just look at what the coaches or what the pros do and ask yourself, do you really think the top 10 players in the world, top 20 players are spending 0 minutes on mental toughness? It's hard. You might actually think that because the stuff that ends up on the internet is all the other stuff. You see them
Right.
working out. You see pictures of them lifting weights. You see them stretching. You see them playing tennis. You never see them in a room with a coach with a clipboard or whatever. If you watch that Netflix series, Quarterbacks, in my hometown of Holland, Michigan, is where Kirk Cousins, the quarterback in the NFL, he just went from
Yeah. Used to
Minnesota.
play for
He's
Commanders.
the highest paid
Yeah.
dude in like the last 5 years. He's in Atlanta
Yeah.
now.
Crazy.
It was fascinating what these people do. Like these are the top level guys. He's got stuff on like a neural trans hat that he wears that kind of makes him think quicker. And I'm like, dude, everybody's into it. At that high level, they get it. They get that mental skills is actually a thing. It's not just like don't need it.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Love it. Let's see, Mark. I got swing vision. It's nice. Glad you're enjoying it, Mark. Great stuff, Mark. Thanks, guys. Linda, thank you, Jorge. As usual, outstanding presentation in all caps. Love it.
Thank you.
Florida, Florida man cooking. This was great. Thank you all. You're welcome. And Rick, I love your 20 questions, and I've used it with my doubles partners. It's great, and they answered all the questions. Awesome, awesome. Love it. Great to hear that. Jamie, so many of my peers seem to think mental toughness is merely something one has or doesn't have rather than something that can be trained. Exactly.
Well,
So
you know
yeah,
what? Perfect example to debate that is the story of Roger Federer, which we all think
yeah,
probably ended up being pretty classically strong mentally. What most people don't know, even to this day, is that he was a maniac in the juniors. There's footage, just Google it on YouTube. Roger throws racket. What? There's a video of Roger throwing a racket. Not when he was older, but he was a total hot mess, and he talks about it freely. But most of us, he came on our radar when he was already kind of calmed down and good at it. But he's probably the best example of someone that really struggled with it. Bjorn Borg was the other one. His parents took his racket away, and then he became the
mhm.
most stoic dude ever. Won like freaking 5 Wimbledons in a row. Um, so yeah, it's like a shot. You can get better at a mental skill just like you can at a physical skill.
Yeah, 100%. Um, Christopher, all the top players can hit the ball. That level of difference is mental.
Yep.
Certainly the big, huge one. Jorge, before I ask you a wrap up question, looks like decent stopping point with us of having had all the questions. Just want to kind of remind the folks, if you don't mind, just like because I think the bonus package. I know you kind of went over it quickly, but I feel like it's really really good. So if you could just kind of remind
Yeah.
people what,
Sure.
yeah,
So the bonus package I'm going to give you all is a 4-part mental toughness course. It's got 4 different videos. I'm going to tell you exactly what they are. The first video, and they're all about 22 to 25 minutes long. The first video is all to do with fear of losing, and I go over like basically how to deal with that, and why you want to deal with that. See if I can share this again.
yeah,
If I
sure,
if I do it right, not screw it up here. Yeah, so
no
here we
worries.
go. So the videos are here. The first one is fear of losing. The second one deals with this. We talked about a little bit the closing out matches, and I show you the actual games that I recommend, the closeout sets and the deuce and done. And then your inner voice. That's the 16-second cure stuff. I show you some of the stuff for that on the court. And then the nerves and choking, and talk about mantras and how to deal with that. Now, by the way, full disclosure, those 4 topics areas. I mean, there's 100 different things you could talk about when it comes to mental toughness. Those 4 topics were the 4 that I personally struggled with in my competitive years. Um, so that's why I address them. It's not other areas, but so it's kind of a personal course for me. And we start out with a little bit of a PowerPoint, and almost all of those videos end up on the court. So we adjourn to the court, and I show how to actually do the stuff on the court. Um, so yeah, I probably put 17,000 people through that course now. It's one of my opt-in courses. Um, so I know when I first ever started my website, I wanted to have something that people could get from me, and start, collecting people's emails and nurturing that list. And I did a survey of what do people want. If I gave a free course, what would you want that course to be on? And it came back overwhelmingly that they wanted mental toughness, because the average tennis player feels like they practice better than they play, which is super frustrating. Like, man, I'm a 4-0 in practice, and when I compete, I'm a 3-5. What? And they beat themselves up over that. So once the mental toughness topic was decided, and then I said, okay, well, what am I going to cover? And that's where I chimed in and said, well, here's what I've learned about fear of losing, and what I've learned about closing out matches, and what I've learned about inner game, and what I've learned about nerves and choking. So yeah, that's basically what they get.
Awesome, awesome. And so I'm putting the link, Jorge's link in the chat. And so if you want to get that mental toughness course as a bonus for picking up the all access pass, then you have to use that link, which is Jorge's link, so that, make sure that he gets credit, obviously. And so if you use that link, then you can get the free mental toughness course. So Jorge, thanks a lot for doing that,
No
for
sweat, guys.
offering that. Yeah, appreciate that. So, Yeah, I guess just to close now, I don't see any other questions at the moment. Is, having seen this awesome presentation, which really appreciate, Jorge. What should the folks at home? What do you think their next step should be to improve their mental toughness?
I would say if there's one action step to take would be go watch that video of the 16-second cure on Gotta Tennis. Just do it. Do it if you're a doubles partner. Do it with your buddies. If you want your team to be good, watch it as a team. If you're a coach watching, show it to your players. It's literally free, and it's been remade. It's been beautifully redone. I mean, it's a great video. So that's still, in my opinion, the very best training for how to get mentally tougher, because it's not ideas, it's not theory, it's like a method. You can actually learn these steps and get better between points. And that's what I was yearning for when I was a competitor. Like, just the generic, well, don't be mad, just kind of say nice things to you. Like, none of it's working, dudes. I need like something tangible. And that's about as tangible as you can get. So that would be my my homework assignment for everybody.
Love it, love it. Thanks a lot, Jorge. And yeah, just gotatennis.com/16s. So yeah, if you can't find a link, just let me know and I'll send it to you. But Jorge, thanks again so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
this
buddy.
was
Thank
great.
you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody, for the great questions and for attending as well. And yeah, Jorge, obviously keep up the great work, and looking forward to connecting with you again soon. And obviously also watch Jorge's session on creative serve practice
Yeah.
drills. Love that one. That's awesome too. I need to do a lot of those myself. So yeah, just thanks again, and
All
see
right, guys.
everyone
Take
soon.
care,
All the
everybody.
best.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Thanks. Bye.